Hey, welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 63, and I am your host, Avantes. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Zeroshio.
What is up, gang?
And wait a minute, we have a special guest this week, Sabretooth Chimp from Tasty Charades. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? What's up?
Oh, we are really glad to have you here. Of course,
Glad to be here.
Versika is on vacation this week, and as you can see from Zeroshio's hashtag Versika who, but yeah,
Make sure to tweet Versika. Hashtag Versika who.
Yeah, Versika is on vacation. He's, as we speak, probably got his toes in the water, his ass in the sand, not a worry in the world, and a cold beer in his hand.
Chasing sharks.
That's right. So we are, but even though he's not here, the show must go on. So Chimp was gracious enough to come in and help us to try to keep this train wreck on track. So,
Boyd says, "Do you mean Dallas?" He put Dallas on his coffee cup. He's in incognito.
Yeah, I know, Dove. Why weren't we invited? I know, right? So before we get this ball rolling, Zeroshio, since Versika's not here and you did such a wonderful job last week, we're going to let you do the honors about telling us a little more about Viforce.
As everybody knows, we've been myself and my wife are looking into computers for ourselves this year. I'm going to get a new computer for DreamHack, and I went through the process with Viforce over at viforcegaming.com and went through all the steps to find out more about what kind of hardware they offer and that kind of stuff. Really easy, really seamless. Well, now I went through the process of actually looking up other websites, and even though I know they're giving me a great deal, just as a normal consumer, I've got to make sure I'm getting a good deal. So I did go out to some other sites. I looked at pricing, looked at hardware comparisons, and I was extremely happy. And we'll talk about that more in the second half of the show. You're muted.
I am. So we had one iTunes review this week, so Zeroshio doesn't have to shave. It is a 5-star review. It says, "Hi guys, this is Turtools. It says, I found that this is such an overdue review. I listen to this podcast every week, regardless if I get to listen to any of the other ones. You offer an audio portion for those who don't get to watch it live or on stream, and I quite enjoy that and just enjoy the jokes. Y'all are good to each other. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Turtools. We appreciate it. Zeroshio?
I want to say a big thank you to Turtools, but I want to offer my services to Turtools.
Whoa! This is a family show.
There are things called punctuations, commas, periods, exclamation points, question marks, things like that. There were none in this review, so I had to put them wherever I thought they worked. Thank you all the same, Turtools.
Yeah.
Turtools is awesome. He's one of our patrons. He's very vocal in Discord, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
So if you haven't done so yet, do us a favor. Go to iTunes, search for Hero Power, and leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the show. And we'd love to hear from you. We love hearing from the community. All right, so on to the news and discussions. We've got quite a bit to touch on this week. But first, I want to talk about one of our past show hosts, or guest hosts, I should say. Back on episode 38, we had I Am Legion, who used to play professional Hearthstone for
Olympus
Gamers. That's right. Well, since he kind of semi-retired, he has written a book, and it's getting ready to come out. It is it's a Kindle ebook that you can find on Amazon. It's called Dominion. So you just go to Amazon, search for his real name is Michael Miles. So you search for Michael Miles Dominion, and you'll find the book. And I just want to take a minute to pitch it for him. He says the book is it's kind of a thriller. It's the premise is a hidden society seeks to bring about the apocalypse of the world as one group of survivors must battle back to forge their new lives in this new world. Follow along as best friends Anthony and Marcus struggle to cope with their own humanity and sanity in this suspenseful thriller guaranteed to keep you turning page after page. Legion was a great friend of ours, great friend of the show. Go check it out. If you feel like this might be something up your alley, go ahead and pre-order the book. It launches January 13th.
And the most important thing is, if you download this book, a portion of the proceeds goes towards the veteran support groups.
That's very true.
It's a very wonderful charity. I give to it myself as being a veteran. I also give to the veteran support groups. They are not just for disabled veterans, but they help all forms of veterans climatize to whether it be an injury or climatize to civilian life. They're just a great group.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the Hearthstone. I know that's why everybody's here. So the Tavern Hero qualifiers are going on right now through January 22nd. They've announced that the Tavern Hero Championship will be held Friday, February the 17th, followed by Winter Playoffs on Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th. I am happy to announce that, as in the past, we will be hosting Winter Playoffs again at Level Up in Knoxville. So if you want to come out and hang out with us, play some Hearthstone, earn the Power Core card back, which is only available by competing at an official Blizzard esports event, this is your chance to do that. So,
and for those that remember last year, these winter playoffs are what they called winter prelims last year. So if you went to the prelims, then the playoffs would be the same thing.
Right. So if you're
Sabertooth,
competing, go ahead.
Have you gone to any of the prelims last year at all, or either just attending or competed?
No, I have friends who did, but I actually took a break last year for a small bit, and I didn't actually play in any events at all. No.
Okay. Well, this is we are hosting, and if you want to come out, and you can earn that special card back that's only available for competing in these events.
I'll say this too, though. When you guys are hosting events, you guys are very organized, and like you get your information out really well. And I as a person who plays the game too, and it wants to be a part of of these tournaments at some point too, you guys do an amazing job.
Well, as I am an innkeeper, as is Dove in our chat. She is an innkeeper based out of the Dallas area, if I remember correctly, Dallas, Texas. So that's what we do. We love to provide for these for our players, and we love to organize events, and so that's for me personally, it's almost as much fun to organize the events as it is to actually play in the events. So
now, as a note for our local players, we had a Tavern Hero qualifier that had to recently be rescheduled because of weather. We've rescheduled that to the 22nd of January, and we also have one the 21st of January. So we have quite a few players that are actually coming up for the whole weekend in Knoxville over at Level Up Games. If you can follow our Knoxville Hearthstone Facebook page, we'll probably put. I think we have the notes somewhere. It's on our website over at heropowerhs.com.
yeah,
and we've gotten the approval to have 2 back-to-back Tavern Hero qualifiers because of the reschedule.
right. Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd.
I won't be there, but we do have a lot of people planning on attending. It's going to be a blast.
All right, so let's say you compete and you make top 8 at Tavern Hero Championships. You're automatically get a seat at Winter Playoffs. Now, the top 4 players from each region at playoffs get an all expenses paid trip to the Winter Championships.
Right. It's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. I looked it up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the players that make top 4 in each region get an all expenses paid trip to the Bahamas to compete in the Winter Championships March 23rd through the 26th. Guys, in the middle of winter, is there any place else you would want to be besides the Bahamas playing Hearthstone? Come on. I mean, this is amazing. Blizzard's really outdoing themselves this time.
Yeah, the costs alone for each player, and again, they're only bringing out the top 4, so
it's gonna be 16 players total.
Be 16 players total for out of all the regions. That's just ridiculous, and I really like in the new format. I like that they're making it such a big deal. Mm-hmm. Before, when they said they were going to get rid of the different regional championships and replace them with a world championship for each season, I was like, it sounds like they're trying to cut some costs. But when you look at it now, they're actually not doing any less tournaments. It's the same amount of tournaments. They're just consolidating them all into one world championship and then basically consolidating all the cost as well. So I think they may actually be spending more money to make sure the professional players are enjoying themselves.
Yeah. You got anything you wanted to add to that, Chip?
No, it's an amazing opportunity. So.
Yeah, it really is. And so, obviously, we'll all be able to watch it live on Twitch, as we usually do. But it's also completely open to the public. So, if you want to make that trip to Nassau in March, I actually looked up the cost of booking a room and booking a flight because I was curious. And you can get a room at the resort where the tournament's being hosted for roughly $375 a night. And then I looked American Airlines round trip for me from Knoxville to Nassau and back is like $600. So yeah, for about $2,200, you can go have an awesome vacation, watch a lot of awesome Hearthstone. You can eat when you get back.
Wow. So I think a couple other people actually factored in everything, and the prices vary depending where you're at. And the average everybody came up with is about $4,000 to enjoy yourself the whole weekend. And it is March 23rd, which is a Thursday, through March 26th, that's Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-day event. It's going to be wonderful Hearthstone. I can't wait to watch it. I'd love to go, but I'm not that good.
Yeah, as Boyd in chat says, I fully intend on watching it for free on Twitch. So, all right.
The crazy part is that plane that takes you to the Bahamas is about as big as your bedroom. So it makes you feel really comfortable too.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next big topic this week. Ben Brode made a public statement this week that they're in discussions about cards from the classic set rotating out to wild. Now, we've already seen this happen with, like, old Murkai. But now they're talking about doing it with other cards that they feel are kind of breaking the meta or just really, really overpowered and too strong. They said they don't really want to nerf the cards from Classic if they don't have to. So, with that said, and, you know, we kind of know what's coming, Zeroshio, we'll start with you. What cards would you like to see rotate out of...
Gadget Zen Auctioneer, and Gadget Zen Auctioneer.
Oh, so you just hate Rogue.
Those 3 cards are... It's not just Rogue, though. Druid uses it in a way that just cycles through. And I'd love to see a nerf to Gadget Zen Auctioneer, but to me, it is the most deflating card. Because one minute you see it hit the board, and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? And then another card, and then another, and another, and you're at 30 health going, do I just need to concede? Like at 30 health, you're wanting to concede.
Thanks, Red Manworm.
Yeah, thanks, Red Manworm. Thanks, bro. No, here, another thing he also said in his statement is, in follow-up questions, is that they're not looking to move anything out of Wild, meaning card that might be going into Wild. They're not looking to keep those cards in Standard, so there are no plans to keep like Reno or Bran or any of those real hot cards right now. They want to make the meta fresh by adding new exciting cards instead of keeping new old cards.
He specifically stated there is no plan to make Reno a classic card. So that's good. All right, Chimp, what cards would you like to see rotate out of Classic and into Wild?
Well, there's one huge card that I would really like to see, and that's Innervate, because I think the card is super powerful.
I agree.
Don't do that to me, bro.
Innervate needs to go.
It's probably the most powerful card. Like, because, I mean, anytime that you can excel so quickly into something, like, I've seen games end on turn 1 because they go straight into Fandral. And then after that, they just have live draws like Nourish or other cards that just play off of Fandral so well, and then they just win from there. Like, you can't win after that. And but other cards that I think we'll see go, I mean, that's the one I want to see go. I think we'll lose Drake for sure because it's too popular. It's in too many.
Talking about Azure Drake.
Yeah, Azure Drake, and I think we might see War Axe go because War Axe again is one of those cards that every warrior class, whatever archetype you are, control.
For those of you who don't know what War Axe is, it's the fiery wind axe. That's what he's referring to.
Right. So
now on that same logic, wouldn't Flame Strike or Fireball also be in that list?
Well, yeah, but I think you're taking away utensils from decks that aren't like just so oppressive. Like those cards don't take away tempo on turn 2 like a Fiery War Axe does. Like you can't play the 1-drops that they try to make are so overpowered. You can't actually get the value out of those when a turn 2 play ends both your turn 1 and turn 2 plays. Whereas a Fireball doesn't really end a turn 3 or turn 4 play as well as a Fiery War Axe will end your early game that way.
So you're saying really early turn 1, turn 2 cards that impact the game in a way that you can't really catch back up should be maybe taken away, Small Time Buccaneer?
Well, I think Small Time Buccaneer might get nerfed. I think we might actually see that. I don't know. But
well, here's the thing. Small Time Buccaneer is not a new concept. We had a mech card that was a 1/2 for 1 that got +2 attack when a mech was in play. So I mean, and Small Time Buccaneer is going to rotate out eventually anyway. So I don't think it's as big a deal as say like the tempo swing that you get from a turn 1 or turn 2 Fiery War Axe.
Because you're paying 2 mana for a Fireball essentially. Like you pay 2 mana to deal 6 damage. And I think that's just too much when you have like a 5 mana Pyroblast. You have an Arcanite Reaper that can essentially do more damage with upgrade. So like if you're getting all these classic cards stuck in the same class, you kind of want to move some of the classic cards out so that way you can fit new cards in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, on this same question, can I answer for Versika? Because I know what his answer is going to be. It's going to be Divine Favor. It is the worst, most oppressive card according to Versika, in Hearthstone. What are your thoughts on Divine Favor? I know Paladin's not in a really good spot, but is it one of those cards that you think should go away?
I don't think that it sees enough play, really, to like, because a lot of Paladin decks right now are more like your control Paladins are the best versions of them, and you already draw too many cards. So I don't think you're ever going to be in a spot where you are going to be like, well, I need to draw this many. Unless I guess you're going up against Reno and you have to exhaust all your resources, like any like Reno Lock or Reno Mage, and then you're just like Divine Favor. Hopefully, I've drawn a lot of cards. But I mean, that's one of those cards that's really situational, and it can be really good when you're like already ahead, and I guess when you're an aggro deck, but it can be really bad when you're trying to play it behind. I think so. Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, they're going to go through everything, figure out what they feel, not necessarily what we feel is the biggest threat, but what Blizzard feels is the biggest threat. Now, a lot of the cards we've mentioned, they have talked about in other posts as being big offenders. Innervate is on their list to look at. I know War Axe is on their list. Azure Drake's on their list. I don't know if Auctioneer was, but it needs to be if it's not. But
I think so.
I agree that these cards, they are basic engines for a lot of these decks that provide such huge tempo that it's hard to recover from sometimes. So we'll have to see how they proceed. But I have, and I'm saying this for me, not everybody else may feel this way, but I have complete faith in the Blizzard dev team to do what's right for the game. And I know they're going to keep the game fun and agile and working as well as it has. And it's not something I personally, as a player, have to worry about because I know they're going to take care of it. So, with that said, moving on.
The important thing is if you do want your input, there's going to be a place to put it.
That is. And that is going to happen day after tomorrow, this coming Friday. That will be January the 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. They are doing a Developer Insight live stream Q&A with both Ben Brode and Dean Ixar Ayala. Basically, it says, pull up a chair by the hearth. Join the game director, Ben Brode, and game designer, Dean Ayala, for a live Q&A session on Twitch. So this will be on the @PlayHearthstone Twitch channel. It says, our developers will be sharing some insights about the state of the game, as well as the new player experience, ranked play system, and answering your questions live. So, Chimp, we're going to start with you this time. What is the one big thing you'd like to see come out of this? Is it a new mode? Is it a shake-up to the ladder system? Is it a shake-up to the state of the game? What's the big announcement you're hoping to hear?
I'd like to hear them tell us that there's going to be a tournament mode. I think everybody kind of wants to hear that who plays Hearthstone semi-competitively. Like, that would be the coolest thing they're going to tell us, but I don't think that we'll hear that at all. I think basically what I would like to hear is kind of what cards might be rotating out, just so I get kind of like a heads up, And I think that's pretty much where they're going to go with it. I'm not 100% sure, if they're going to like surprise us and tell us that there's going to be some new modes, but that would be pretty cool. I'd like to see that.
Okay, Zeroshio, what are your thoughts?
Well, first thing, the big thing to take away from this is it's a live stream Q&A. They are taking players' questions. You can tweet @PlayHearthstone, and they're going to be compiling those questions, as well as they said they are even going to have moderators in chat taking some questions straight from chat. Obviously, Twitch chat is Twitch chat, so your questions may or may not be seen in a timely manner, but they are taking questions from the player base. That's the most important thing to note. And because they're taking questions from the player base, I really think ranked play is going to be a big topic. I think ranked play is broken. I think at the end of the season, when your legend players go down to rank 16, it's caustic. Nobody wants to play that first week. I know I don't. I usually just play silly decks and test out dumb decks because I don't care if I lose because I'm probably going to lose anyways. So I stay away from that first few days unless I'm just messing around. So I think ranked play is going to be a huge topic, and that's what I'm most excited to hear about.
Okay, cool. Well, I kind of agree with Chimp on the tournament mode would be huge, but honestly, I would really like to see them bring back the heroic brawl that we had as its own separate mode. Where
Absolutely.
If people want to do that anytime, they can sign up for it just like they can Arena. I think it needs to be a permanent mode like Arena is, and give people that option. I did not participate in it at all during the 4 days it was out, but I watched a lot of people do it, and it was a lot of fun to watch on Twitch.
It was probably the most fun I've had in Hearthstone in a long time. Like one of the most fun.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
It was awesome.
It was. And See Me No More, you're right. I'm probably going to make Espo rage, but if it's its own separate mode, then when it comes, they don't have to worry about it coming around again. They won't take up a spot for Tavern Brawl for new players and casual players. Espo should be happy if they make it its own mode.
He would be happy if it's its own mode, and I think he's even said as much. If you make it its own mode so that the more hardcore players have a place to go, but you're not taking away that new player experience for Tavern Brawl, then he would be fine with it. So I think he'd be good with that. I loved it. I did play it. I played 5 times. I did horribly, but I had a lot of fun. I like that competitive nature. I kind of call myself casually competitive because I'm competitive whenever it's convenient for me. And this is perfect for me because I don't usually have time to schedule a whole day just for tournaments and things like that. I definitely don't have time to go to a lot of live events because I have other obligations and work and real life. Mm-hmm. So it allows me to have that competitive nature that's different than just a ladder and arena. And I'd also like them to maybe add in some way that you can do versus arena, where you and your opponent get a option to you and your friends get an option to challenge an arena. You both have a certain amount of time to draft your decks, and then you play each other. That would be great for fireside gatherings, and I think it would be a ball. I'd love it.
I think.
Go ahead, Joe.
Just to reiterate on something Zeroshio said prior, once you've when you're a solid player and once you've legend, it doesn't really appeal to you anymore. You can legend all the if you're good enough to legend once, you can do it again. So the whole thing where if you've legend and they rank you all the way back to 16, I think that needs to be fixed. I think if they said that they were gonna drop us back to even 10 or 5, that would be that would make me feel like grinding the ladder wasn't such a dead end all the time, because then maybe I actually have a shot at getting top 200, top 100. If I start there, maybe but and another thing that you said just now, I had it in I actually lost it. Go ahead, never mind.
Okay, well,
I just wanted to give a shout out to Dove in chat, and she said Zeroshio is her spirit animal. So your spirit animal is a land whale, and I'm with you. I'm with you there. I love land whales myself.
Okay, so Hashison is in chat, has 3 questions that he or that they have for the devs. First is, what are you doing to improve matchmaking for new players? Second, why hasn't your Tavern Brawl deploy time decreased from 3 days since the release of the game? And 3, what is being done to counteract the win percentage difference between starting games turn 1 versus turn 2? And I think those are really good questions.
I do too. Did you see the video where Crip showed his win percentage when having the coin and not having the coin? Not having the coin was 8% higher.
Wow. Okay.
So he wins 8% more of his games when he goes first. This is during arena runs, but
right.
I mean, that's a huge percentage. 8% of your games, if you're playing 100 games, that's a lot. So
yeah, that's good.
I agree with all these questions. The only one I don't 100% agree with is the third question: what is being done to counteract the win percentage difference between starting games turn 1 and turn 2? And I don't think it's an unimportant question, because it is, but so far Blizzard hasn't released concrete numbers to say that it's a problem that I've heard of, and all the reputable sources vary. Some say it's as much as 15% difference, some say it's as little as 2% difference, some say there's not a difference. I'd like them first to actually release those numbers and research that first. See if it's a problem, then solve it.
Okay.
I think it's really tough to like counteract those things when they keep making such powerful one drops in the game, though. Like if you're
It's
going to
true.
continue to make really powerful 1 and 2 drops, you can't really balance that turn 1, to turn 2.
And I guess the best way to look at that is what was the win percentage difference between turn one and turn two a year ago this time, and what is it now? Because it may not be a problem with whether you have the coin or draw an extra card or the format of starting first or second. And it's maybe more of a problem of what cards are being released that's affecting those first two turns.
I mean, things like Totem Golem.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they release a card that gives you a free Totem Golem and think that that's fine.
Well, they fixed that.
Yeah, they nerfed that. So,
But they thought it was fine at one point, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's move on here. We're about to our deck of the week, which I'm looking forward to talking about. But first, let's talk about this week's Tavern Brawl. As we said last week, Hero Power is one of the first shows to be able to bring you the news on the Tavern Brawl each week, since we do record on Wednesday nights, the day it releases. This week's Tavern Brawl, if you haven't done it yet, is Cart Crash on the Crossroads. This is a repeat brawl. It says you are collided with another hero and your decks are mixed up. Pick another hero class at the start of the game. Your deck will be a random combination of the two classes. So this Tavern Brawl is always a lot of fun anyway, but since the release of Gadget Zan, it's really a lot of fun. Zeroshio, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience so far?
The big thing is just so if you haven't seen this one before, you pick a class and you can do your class specific quests with this Tavern Brawl. You pick a class, they give you random cards from that class. On your first turn, you get a discover effect of 3 different classes, and then you pick one, and it fills in about half of your deck with those class cards. What's great about it is since the release of Mean Streets of Gadget Zan, you get synergy between different classes sometimes. So if you pick Paladin and then decide to go Warrior, you might get a lot of the different synergies. But you may also pick Paladin and go, say, Shaman, and get a mixture of both the Jade cards as well as the hand buffing cards. You can also go Shaman and Druid or Rogue and possibly double up on your Jade Golem synergy type cards. So while this is a repeat brawl, there's a lot of really new things to experience in it. And I had a ball with it. I played about 5-6 times.
Yeah. So that link I just shared was sent to me by Hash in chat. It is actually Crip's video on the shocking truth behind the coin. It's a good video. I've seen, I think I've actually watched it. I'll have to rewatch it. So, save that link after the show's done tonight. Go check it out. To maybe send us an email next week at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com and let us know your thoughts.
And for those of you listening on the download, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll add it to the show notes if you're listening to the audio cast, so you can check it out. All right. So, Chimp, did you have anything you wanted to add about Tavern Brawl?
I thought it was fun, and I also think this is Blizzard's way of testing how cards interact with each other, so that way they can kind of get a feel of what they can do next with cards that, in the next sets. I think this is a really good way for them to test cards and just kind of figure out how they can make the next expansion better.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of fun seeing the interactions. So, all right. Well, that's going to bring us to this week's deck of the week. This deck was actually it's Zeroshio's week to drive. If you guys don't know, we broke up this 9-week course into families. So Zeroshio is handling all of the Cabal, and I'm doing Grimy Goons, and Versika is, of course, doing his beloved Jade Lotus. So Zeroshio wanted to do something a little different. Didn't want to do like a standard Reno Zoolock. So he brought us this deck from Phenom, who, if you don't know, is a member of Vicious Syndicate. And this is his Reno Zoolock. So I'm going to run down the deck list like I do every week, and then I'm going to turn it over to Zeroshio to kind of talk about how this deck differs from a traditional Reno lock. So the deck list is, of course, it's a Reno, so there's only one copy of each card. You've got Abusive Sergeant, Argent Squire, Bloodcell Corsair, Flame Imp, Mortal Coil, Patches, Possessed Villager, Power Overwhelming, Soulfire, Voidwalker, Acidic Swamp Ooze, Crazed Alchemist, Dark Peddler, Direwolf Alpha, Argent Horse Rider, Bran Bronzebeard, Darkshire Councilman, Imp Gang Boss, Dark Iron Dwarf, Defender of Argus, Kazakus, Kooky Chemist, Shadow Flame, Doomguard, Harrison Jones, Argent Commander, Reno Jackson, Sylvanas Windrunner, Abyssal Enforcer, and Ragnaros the Fire Lord. All right, Zeroshio, take it away.
So I've been playing a lot of Reno Lock, and I really like it. And the style I've been playing is more the control-y combo Reno Lock with the Faceless Manipulator and Leroy Jenkins combo. Unfortunately, the meta is really starting to speed up a bit more at this part of the month, and going against pure aggro, you don't have time to even think. You don't have time to get to your Hellfire turns. Sometimes you don't even have time to get to a Blast Crystal Potion, and if you do that early, that really hurts, especially with Flame Wreath Faceless going back into the meta with Shaman. This is a Reno-style deck that kind of stops the aggro early and has a lot of tech against weapons and early removal, and then it allows it to slow down a little bit, and it's kind of like a hybrid between an aggro zoo style and more of a mid-range zoo style. So your big things is getting that the early curve and trying to put out your early threats, including Patches being in here. Now you'll notice there's not a lot of pirates in here. I think the Bloodcell Corsair and Patches are the only ones.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was correct. I had to double check. The Corsairs for that early weapon removal, and then you have the Patches. It's not trying to burst down your opponent early. It's all about using Patches to finish off clearing early minions so you can get that stable board, use your Defenders of Argus, use your Doom Guards and your bigger minions to kind of just take control and then finish off midway through the game. I like it. In this style of meta, it works out pretty well. I was able to get a solid 8 games in, not a lot, and I was 6-2.
Okay.
So I like it. It's a lot of fun. Any thoughts on it, Champ?
Yeah, the only problem that I have with this list is I feel like you sacrifice a lot of like AoE potential, and like when you're trying to fight the board with minions, and your minions don't curve out as well as like Dragon Warriors or Pirate Shaman, like those two decks can just run you over, and then you can't get back into the game because you end up trying to trade your board with their board, and then they have a lot of like damage from hand that ends up bursting out and killing you. And if you don't have Reno, then you just lose. And there are going to be games that you just have Reno and you just win, but this deck feels like if it gets behind, it plays really bad from behind unless it draws Reno, which I guess you have a pretty good chance of drawing Reno being Warlock, but I don't know if sacrificing AoE is as good as like being a zoo. I haven't tested this list a lot. When I did play it, the issue that I had was that I just got ran over by like Pirate Warrior and Pirate Shaman or Dragon Warrior. I just got ran over. Like when I had those matchups, I was trying to like play Imp King Boss on 3 or coin it out on 2 so that way I could control the board a little better. And then they'd end up getting me to such a low life by turn 5 that if I didn't have Reno to coin out, then I would have lost, but I already coined out Imp Gang to try to control the board, and I'm like, well, I can't play it on turn 5, and then they kill me. And then and that's the only issues that I had with the deck. Against control matchups, though, like it's flawless. You can just win. They think that they have you in a spot where you're like a zoo deck that's just playing odd cards, and then you play Reno, and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's actually playing Reno too. So,
yeah. And I've seen that, and I actually have looked at changing the deck a bit, but I wanted to play it in its raw form. mainly because Phenom made it popular, and I want to show it off as it is. I think there are some removals. Definitely, you could take out the Cookie Chemist, maybe even Crazed Alchemist, and put in more board removal. I do like the idea of putting in Demon Wrath in here, some more board clears. So I agree with you there. We're playing this list because it's authentic and it has proven itself. But there are a lot. That's another thing I like about this deck is there are a lot of tech changes you can make to adjust for your surrounding meta. It's not so tight that if you remove, or change one card like a classic Reno deck, that you've blown the whole deck.
A lot of times, though, in the list that I was playing, I would have rather, instead of Harrison, had like Leroy. And the biggest card that I found that I wanted the most was Abyssal Enforcer. Because, like, there was a lot of times when I was battling on the board and I couldn't make good trades, especially against Shaman. And Abyssal Enforcer is just like one of the best cards. One of the best cards in the deck.
Yeah, Abyssal Enforcer is ridiculous in this deck. It pretty much wins you games when you can get it out on turn 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you can survive that long.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this deck played. Before we do that, though, Zeroshio, do you have any last thoughts about this week's show so far?
All I can say is enjoy the upcoming esports for Hearthstone. They're making some major changes. They're obviously making some major changes towards the game as a whole, as well as esports. I think the Q&A on Friday is going to be a huge light shown on Hearthstone. It's going to make it a lot stronger, not just with the information they give, but the fact that they're willing to take the thoughts and desires of the players into account to the changes in the game. This game has been around, 3 years now? Counting all the beta, it's not dying anytime soon. It's a fun game. I'm really excited where it's going. I think we have many, many more years, and let's just keep it up. Let's have the Hero Power podcast go on forever, so that this game goes on forever.
There you go. I like it. Chimp, you got any thoughts?
Thank you guys for inviting me and coming on here and talking. And chat's been amazing. You guys have one of the best chats ever.
Our chat is
Yes, we
awesome.
do.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you if they want to come watch you stream or check out? I guess are you still doing Tasty Talk?
Well, right now it's on kind of a break. We've had some like creative differences inside of Tasteful Charades. So right now it's just me, and you can find me on Facebook at Tasteful Charades. I'd like to stream there usually towards the middle of the day, anywhere between like 3 and 6, and then I stream to my Twitch usually after around 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm usually on there streaming, and I usually stream 2 to 3 hours at a time, depending on how much time I have. You guys can find me there, and I'll look to have you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, guys, if you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening to our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, where you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers, or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you do enjoy the show, would like to help to support and improve it, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, well, while we're getting this set up, Zeroshio, why don't you tell them a little more about Viforce?
Okay, so like I said, we're looking into getting 2 new computers this year. And obviously, ViforceGaming.com is my first choice for getting a good deal on a gaming PC. Of course, being a consumer and being a intelligent consumer, I definitely want to go out and check my prices and check other specs of other locations. And you've heard Versika talk about it before. I went out to a few of the main websites for big box stores. I also went to some main websites for, just regular PCs, and tried to find a PC about the same specs. And I'm getting a modified version of the Momentum. It is the $800 value PC that's on ViforceGaming.com's website. I could not find something even close at any of the big box stores. The prices were ridiculously high. They're anywhere from $400 to $600 more. So I thought, well, maybe I need to go to one of these custom sites. And I did go to a few other custom sites, and a lot of the popular custom sites that are publicized on other gaming podcasts and on gaming websites and those sort of places. And even at those sites, to get a custom PC the exact same way, I was looking to spend about $250 extra plus shipping. And some of those places were charging an arm and a leg for shipping. ViforceGaming.com works with you every step of the way. They have 6 months financing. They will assist you in any way of shipping it any way you want. If you need it custom shipped, or even in case if you're close by and you want to come pick it up, they will work with you. And that's the whole reason to go with Viforce. So go to ViforceGaming.com, or you can go to HeroPowerHS.com and click on the Viforce link on the right and get your custom gaming PC. We had a lot of people that listened to our episode 50 and was able to take part in a deal that was through the rest of 2016. It's no longer anymore. And we had quite a few people that really benefited from that. Mm-hmm. So also check out our show. In the future, we'll be doing other Viforce deals as they come along, and we'll pass those savings to you right away.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get started, I want to throw a big thank you out to Mo Ruiz and Dove's Feathers, who just followed us on Twitch. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Are you ready to rock this thing, Zeroshio?
If you're ready to rock, I'm ready to roll.
Let's do it. Let me know once you have found a match.
I am looking for somebody. I'm hoping. I think I'm going to try to find a worthy opponent. Hopefully, get a mediocre monk, gem pusher. Okay, worthy opponent. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, that's close.
I didn't want a gem pusher. Okay.
All right, so we've got a mirror match: Warlock versus Warlock, right out of the gate. All right.
Yeah.
So our opening hand is Shadow Flame, Flame Imp, Harrison Jones, Abyssal Enforcer. What are you usually looking for in your mulligans?
I'm looking for some early game against aggro classes. Against other warlocks, I could probably sacrifice some of the really early game. I want to keep the Flame Imp because you always want to keep Flame Imp no matter what you're doing. I don't need Harrison. Abyssal's a little late. I'm tempted to keep Shadow Flame, but I think it's a throwback because I don't think he's going to be running Zoo. If he was running Zoo, I'd keep Shadow Flame. So I'm just going to keep the Flame Imp.
Okay.
If I thought he might be an aggro type deck, I might have kept.
There we go. We got Mortal Coil. We got Direwolf Alpha and Reno.
The Reno is actually a pretty good snag. I like having the Reno here. I'm just going to open it with obviously a Flame Imp. This is showing my cards a little early, telling him that I'm probably not a classic Reno.
He probably doesn't think you're Reno at all.
Right. At this point, he probably thinks you're Zoo.
Yeah. He's probably thinking, Zoo? Why would you play Zoo on the ladder right now? You're horrible at this game.
Especially if you go turn 2 Direwolf. Like, it's just, that's classic. Like,
oh yeah, that is classic. You know, he's contemplating, what? Can I afford to tap? But I have to tap because I'm Reno Lock.
Yeah. Acidic Swamp Ooze.
That's a good ditch by him.
So turn 2, we just top decked the Abusive Sergeant. What are you thinking here?
I think we're going to do the Direwolf Alpha, and I think we're just going to go face because
get the damage in early and fast.
Yeah, get it in early and fast. He probably will think that we're Classic Zoo, so he's going to want to take out the Direwolf Alpha. And I'm just going to go to face because at this point, on 3 mana, there's not, other than Demon Wrath, there's nothing really board wipe, and Demon Wrath won't kill my Imp. So you'd have to run into it anyways.
So at this point, what are we saving the coin for? For like turn 5 Reno if things get bad?
I don't think it's turn 5
Right.
Reno. We might actually end up using it
On
this
like a
next
cookie
turn on the Cookie Chemist, depending on what he keeps. Though Abusive Sergeant run to face into Cookie Chemist actually isn't terrible.
Okay.
He actually is going to trade?
Yeah, he's thinking about trading that Swamp Ooze into that Imp.
If he's trading into Imp, he's probably calling our bluff that we're not really Zoo. If it's Zoo, you want to get rid of the Direwolf Alpha. Wow.
That's strange.
We just drew into Argent Commander, which maybe I wondered why they didn't have Leroy in here instead of Argent Commander, but a lot of it is because you want the Argent Commander out early, and you don't want the disadvantage of the 2 minions on their side.
Okay.
I think it's also better against control, whereas like you don't want it to die to spot removal, and it's a lot tougher to get rid of this.
I think I'm going to tap playing to Abusive Sergeant. What do you think, Champ?
I think that's probably your only play. I mean, you can play Cookie Chemist here, but I don't really like it on this board. So
I like Rag. A little early, but I'll probably have a Mortal Coil for that Abusive Sergeant, but that will put him on 3 mana again. So we can Cookie Chemist that and clear it with the Abusive Sergeant.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's actually a pretty good play.
Only really good target for Cookie Chemist in this matchup. Make sure to put the Cookie Chemist on the left.
Are you going to coin Mortal Coil to draw a card?
That's what I was considering. It was either running in the Direwolf or coin. I think there's no other place for the coin.
I would say I would send the Direwolf to face and coin Mortal Coil the
right.
Yeah.
Because if he's holding Mortal Coil, you don't want him to get free draws, and it plays around. It plays pretty well around Mortal Coil.
Yeah, it plays around Mortal Coil, and it gets that minion off the board, so he doesn't PO Shadow Flame.
Right.
It would be a turn 5 play.
That's actually pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got depending on what he plays, we've got a solid turn 5 play in the Argent Horse Rider and the Dark Peddler next turn.
Yep. And what I found in this deck, a lot of times I did play other Reno matchups, and they would throw Reno down on 6, but I'd still have a board full of minions. So I'm doing another 14 damage to their face the next turn. So it only really delayed the inevitable by maybe a turn or two. And he is not sure what he wants to do.
I think he's still trying to figure out what exactly we are. And there's a second-rate Bruiser.
Okay, so obviously we can send the Cookie Chemist into the second-rate Bruiser, and that will clear it.
I like that, and then I like Imp Gang plus Dark Peddler.
That's what I was thinking too.
I don't think you want to use Argent because Argent's just better for more removal, just in case he plays, another taunt that we don't really have a good way of dealing with.
On both sides, right?
Yeah.
I probably should have done the Dark Peddler first. Now that I thought about it.
Yeah, just in case, but
I
like your placement.
Possessed Villager, Mortal Coil, and Blood Imp.
I think you have to take Possessed, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's sticky board minion.
And there's probably never going to be another good target for Mortal Coil.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I just don't think that you ever take Blood Imp.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Blood Imp is bad, especially in the meta right now.
There's that new Warlock card. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a 6 mana that at the end of every turn add a random demon to your hand. Every time I've seen it played, it always gives out Blood Imps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so true. So this is a Reno turn, right? Kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding,
So
kidding, chat. Kidding, chat.
What are we doing?
I
Do we
think
just
I think
push face?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think here you go all three to face and then play like the Argent, or not the Horse Rider, but the
Commander?
the Commander between the Direwolf Alpha and the Dark Peddler and go face with it.
Yep. Because I want to leave the Imp Gang boss at 3 attack.
You also want to leave it on the left.
Now,
side.
do we want to clear this?
I would. Because you want to actually keep. I think you want to keep Direwolf and make him have Demon Wrath. If he does have Demon Wrath, he doesn't deal with your board.
Yeah,
And that plays around Shadow Flame.
Right.
it does. Yeah, that's not bad. He has Torino here, or that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we got dead on board.
And even if he Reno's here, it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's not. That's like I'm saying. We still have, 12 points of damage showing on the board. If he Reno's here, he's still going to be at 18 next turn minimum.
I think we actually, if he Reno's, don't we remove it with the horse or the commander, just so he can't have any shenanigans.
Oh yeah. Commander, and then probably run in the Dark
horse.
Peddler as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's trying to figure out what to do.
He may have the 1-mana 2/2 that gains life, and then power overwhelming Shadow Flame. That's a possible scenario.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that would be an ideal, just totally ideal for him.
That'd be the
It's
best
still
3
not
cards
great.
he could have right now.
And
Yeah,
that
that's
wouldn't be
still
bad
pretty
for
good.
us either, because that's half his hand.
Ooh, Abyssal Enforcer.
There's the Enforcer. Okay.
Mhm.
Still not terrible. Do we just keep continuing face?
Yeah, I think you throw down the Voidwalker, play the Argent, and just send everything face.
Do we play on a whole right side of our hand?
If you're playing if you're not tapping, then you have to.
Okay. I don't think we need to tap. We're going to rag next turn, most likely.
Yeah.
And we just go face.
Yep.
Send it all home. If he has Reno, this is actually not a really... It's actually kind of a tough board.
Yeah.
Because Reno's usually followed by, AoE.
Usually is. He'd be on 2 mana, so he wouldn't have much AoE this turn.
Right, if he plays... Let's say he plays Reno this turn. If he's able to AoE the turn after... Because we have to actually deal with his board, too. Because we can't just leave him with a 6/6, because, all the AoE actually does is remove all our minions, and he probably stuck with a 6/6 and a 4/4 or a 6/4/4/4. Somewhere
That's
in there.
true. But I don't think he has Reno. I think he would have put it out last turn if he had Reno.
Maybe he likes to live dangerously.
And if he had it this turn, I think it would have been a snap toss.
Right, I did too.
And see, now he's at 2, so he can't tap to try to get Reno.
So I'm trying to figure out what the best combinations of cards for him is, and I think it still have to be that 3 card, and that's not even that good because we still have 2 minions with Divine Shield.
I think right now he's having his grandma make him some Totino's pizza rolls.
He's going with the Twisting Nether.
Then
That's game.
Yep,
That's game.
GG,
Yeah.
bro.
Do we kill him with patches?
Yes.
Please do. Please kill him.
Ragnaros would be the dignified loss. And now he thinks, he top dash.
GG.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad.
Vic House, if you're watching, we had Ragnaros.
Yes. All right.
All right, one more.
Yeah, for everybody prior to this, when we were talking about the deck list that said patches was just kind of there's why. Game-winning top decks, guys. Game-winning top decks.
Ray Hall said patches OP.
That's right.
Top deck.
Patches OP. If anything, this deck is extremely fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And we love fun decks, but we love fun decks that win, too.
I'm thinking the only thing I toss back Soulfire.
So
And
our
I'm
opening hand
hesitant-
is Soulfire, Mortal Coil, Dark Peddler. Yeah, I could see tossing back just the Soulfire. Chimp, what do you think?
I think Mortal Core is a really good keep because he's probably playing Pirates, and you want to have an early minion. So Soulfire, I think you can actually discuss and like kind of debate Mortal Coil being tossed back for just trying to get another body on the board. But I think Mortal Coil is probably a good keep. So I think Soulfire.
Toss
Probably,
back to Soulfire.
yeah, I think that'd be the only card I'd throw back.
Yeah, I agree with you there. There's Kazakus.
Yeah.
And getting a 1-mana potion.
It's so good in this matchup.
Oh, yeah. Now, I have been playing a ton of Control Warrior lately. This
I
is
had
not
two.
Control Warrior.
No, it's not. Say that he's like, here's a buck.
Just in case you were curious.
Bloodsail.
Yeah.
Oh, Bloodsail's such a good pickup here for next turn. Do we throw out the Dark Peddler right now and hold on the Mortal Coil?
Yeah. He's gonna War Axe it down probably, but I think you do.
I think it's not a bad play. Yeah. See which one.
I think if it baits out the War Axe, we have the Bloodsail. Ooh, Small Time Buccaneer.
We don't have any weapons, but
no, we don't. But it pulls out our patches. But so does the Bloodsail Corsair.
yeah, the initiate gives one of our minions +1/+1 buff when it dies.
Yeah, but they'll decide how those trades go. And that,
yeah,
I mean, what do you think, Chimp?
I like Buccaneer here.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
1/2.
Yeah, it just trades better with like his 1/1s. If he plays like Nazal's First Mate or something like that.
If he finds a way not to pull out a weapon.
Oh,
we can
yes.
use it. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Now we're going to get value.
Ultimate value.
Oh, yes.
And like the turn is actually really good because you're able to take the War Axe out and then you can play another 1/2 body. So like your trades are optimal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm throwing out the Corsair, obviously. Now, based on our draw, we just drew Direwolf Alpha. So my question is, do we Direwolf Alpha in the middle, use that to clear, or do we use patches into the 1/2 and then Mortal Coil it and then throw out our Buccaneer? Okay.
I think Mortal Coil is the play.
Yeah. We want to draw that card.
I also think that like having Direwolf on a board where he still has 4 cards in hand and might have another weapon, like if he's able to just weapon down Direwolf, it seems like you're getting value out of it. At the same time, you weren't able to tempo out another minion or draw a card, so you're kind of behind.
True. That's true.
I think Direwolf has better trade value against cards like Frothing Berserker, or if you have.
Gotcha.
Because he's got to be sitting there going, okay, why am I playing a Warlock with the pirate package? What's going on?
What's happening right now?
And he just threw out a naked Bloodsail Raider. So it's just a 2/3 pirate.
I think he's fishing. I think he's trying to figure out what you are.
So too. What do you think here? I like Kazakus.
I like Kazakus, but then you basically tell him that what you are. If you play Direwolf, you can still make trades, but at the same time, I think I'm pretty sure. I think Kazakus is probably better.
Kazakus then?
I think Kazakus is better because it doesn't matter at that point if you tell him what you
for
are.
a 5-mana or a 1-mana.
Well, if we're going into turn 5, so
I think 5 is better because it actually deals with Frothing Berserker better too.
Yep,
you can
sure
get
does.
damage there.
Do we take the armor here since we don't have the 4 damage?
I actually don't know the answer to that
the
question.
5 damage probably.
It's probably really good against Frothing if you don't get 4 damage to everything. I would probably rather have
let's take 5, and then I'm gonna summon friendly minions.
Rebuild our
definitely the
board and then kill patches and go face. Yeah.
Oh, made it just in time.
Because he's definitely going to trade, and he's going to be the one that's like dictating the trades next. So if he
I
plays
like the
Frothing
call on the 5 damage, though. I do like the call on the 5 damage.
Corcoran Elite.
Oh, he is just pushing.
Yep.
he's actually, I think that kind of shows that he's in trouble, that he knows now that he has to race you.
Yeah, so now we know we're going to get back Patches and the Direwolf Alpha, because those are the only
You can
two minions
actually
that have
trade.
died.
You can actually trade Kazakus into the 4/3 deal 5 damage to the 2/3 and clearest board, and then get all 3 minions back.
Oh, you could get. We're only getting 2.
We only get
but
2
we could get
minions back.
Kazakus, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You could get 3/3
You could
back.
get Kazakus. That's very smart. I like that.
Kind of manipulates it.
There's a chance to get to a 3/3. We didn't, but that's okay.
Yeah. I forgot about the 2/2 that had died.
That's still that's a little bit further than I was thinking. So that's really smart, Chimp. I like that.
Just try to manipulate like what you get.
Wow.
He is just going face.
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to put us to 10.
So we top deck Reno.
No, but
We just need to push, don't we?
I think you just drop the Direwolf Alpha and just kind of try to push
Don't
face.
you want to? Yeah, like Direwolf plus Kooky. I thought you were gonna play Sylvanas for a second.
No, Direwolf plus Cookie?
Yeah, that's.
Where should I put
definitely
the Direwolf?
I'd
probably
in the middle.
I would probably put it between Peddler and Patches because you can actually trade the 3 and let them rotate down, and then Peddler trades better into like a Bloodsoul Raider if he has to have like
Kooky the Buccaneer for that extra point of damage.
You could actually Kooky Patches and make it a little bit more stable for trades.
Yep.
Oh, that's true.
That'll make it
Yeah.
a 2/2.
Yeah.
Okay, the question is,
Good call, Jim.
okay, we're not. I wanted to make sure we weren't getting him below 13. Can he get us on 6 mana? I don't think so.
Like
So now the question is, do we have lethal next turn? But with the power overwhelming and the commander.
Yeah,
I think we do.
I think we do. Because Commander PO, and you can actually attack with Patches, play your Commander in between Patches and the Direwolf.
And get the bonus damage.
And get the bonus.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're just going straight face with everything and then doing the commander?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's lethal.
6, 7. Because commander will be 6. Yeah, yeah. I think we're lethal already, actually. Wow. Yeah. So can this deck take down Pirate Warrior? Yes, it can.
Yes, it can.
Pretty good job there.
All right.
There is a lot of thinking involved.
There's a lot of little lines in this deck, though, and I like that. It makes you play more like on your toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the Kooky Chemist and the Crazy Alchemist eke out just an extra point of damage here. You know, it's a good deck. I like it.
Yeah, it's
I
a lot of
haven't been
fun.
terribly consistent with it yet, but I'm also still learning the deck.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, as always, the deck list will be in the show notes. As we do every deck we play on every show, I always put the deck lists in the show notes if anybody ever wants to come back and try one of the decks. So they're easy to find. But 2-0, guys, that's great. You know, we always try to do best 2 out of 3, and we just cleared it today. That's awesome.
And I'm 11 and 4 stars, so I'm just about to hit Dad Legend.
Nice. All right. Well, any final thoughts on this deck tonight, Zeroshio?
It's a lot of fun. You can still have fun on the ladder, whether you believe it or not. So far, the deck has a positive win rate, and it just shows me that with Mean Streets of Gadget Sam, we're still innovating. A lot of people thought that the meta got real stale after the first week when all they saw was Pirates and Reno and the occasional crazy, Cthulhu Druid deck. But as you're starting to flesh out some of the meta, you're seeing counter decks and counter to the counter decks and pirate decks, kind of evolving to more mid-rangey to kind of combat the counters to them. So I'm really excited for the competitive esports of Hearthstone coming up. I want to see what the players do.
Okay. Chimp, final thoughts?
I think decks like this just show us that we're in a healthy meta because right now we're able to play pretty much anything we want to play. Like, we don't have to play mid-range shaman to legend. I mean, because there was one point, in last season or last rotation,
Yeah.
that if you wanted to legend, when you got to those top ranks, you pretty much had to play mid-range shaman, or you just got beat by mid-range shaman. And right now, you can pretty much play anything you want. An aggro, control, mid-range, anything you want to play is pretty viable. So I think that just shows how healthy the meta is and how well Blizzard has done at being able to correct maybe prior stale issues that were in the last rotation and just kind of fix the way the meta has shaped.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We want to thank Chimp for filling in for Versika while he was on vacation. It was nice having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you guys listening or watching at home have any questions or comments about the show or about the deck we played, or you want to chime in on any of the topics that we talked about this week, please send us an email to heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. We love to hear from you guys. Also, if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more details on our patron, if you are interested in becoming a patron, you can go to patreon.com/heropower. You can get access to our private Facebook page, our private Discord server. You can be entered for a chance to win our monthly giveaways, and you can be entered for a chance to compete in the Hero Power Hearthstone Invitational tournaments that will be coming up later this year. It's already too late to get into the one for January, but if you're interested, you can get into our next one, which will be in a couple of months, and have a chance to win some cash, guys. Until next week.
I got one more thing.
There it is.
I want to give a huge shout out to a streamer and caster, Cora, from the Coin Concede podcast.
Yeah.
She does a wonderful stream, and she's streaming just about daily now that she's got a little break to do so in her career. So go over to twitch.tv and follow Sage Cora. That's SAGECORA, Sage Cora. She definitely has a wonderful stream. She's very informative. I know myself and Avantis watch her on a daily basis, and she supports our show very much, and we appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until next week, good gaming.